So today we'll be solving equations using the steps we've learned, but we need to know what happens if all the variables cancel out. So that's a couple of special cases, and some of you might already know these, but you can use this video as a resource if you're not sure, or if you just want to double check your work as you work ahead of me. So on number 3, it's important to note that you've got two things here. We're putting them both on one line of the tracker, but you're going to have notes and a homework assignment, so there's 2 pages. So just make sure when you're using this as a table of contents that you're counting both of them. So one of the biggest things we have to watch out for is we already know that sometimes the answer can be 0. So there's a difference between 0 and no solution. So let's take a look here at what might happen. So we're solving this one, and steps say distribute first. So 2r, and then 2 times 7 is 14, equals 14 plus 2r. So when I go to get my variables on both sides, one side, I minus 2r from both sides, and they both cancel out. So I end up with 14 equals 14. So what's going to happen when all of your variables cancel out completely? You're either going to end up with something that's true. This is always true. 14 always equals 14. So what that means is that no matter what number I plug into this equation for r, this is always going to be true. So this is called an identity, and sometimes you'll call it all real numbers, and sometimes you'll call it infinitely many solutions. So there's lots of things this can be called. It's called an identity because they're identical, 14 and 14. It's called all real numbers because any number would work for r, would make the equation true. And we can also say that it has infinitely many solutions. And some people call that IMS. I would accept any one of those answers. But you want to know that they all mean the same thing, so that on the test, if it's multiple choice and it says one of these things, but not the other one, you'll know that they're all the same. Alright, let's see what we got here for number 2. So I'm going to distribute first, always. So bringing this down, I'll have negative 5 plus 6k equals negative 5 times 6 will be negative 30k, and negative 5 times 1 will be negative 5. No like terms, so I'll get my variables on one side. I'll add 30k. Getting a little crowded here. Make some space. Okay. So I've got negative 5 plus 36k equals negative 5. Alright. So when I add 5 to both sides, here's a perfect example. When I add 5 to both sides, I'm going to get 36k equals 0. That is okay. That's a number, okay? And I still have a k left. So we'll divide by 36 to both sides, and I'll get k equals 0. That is a solution, okay? So this is not a special case. We still had a variable k left in there. So that is not a special case, and that's just like what we've been doing for a few days. So that answer is 0. Alright, let's see what this next one brings us here. First we'll distribute. Now, remember, we're distributing in negative 3. The sign goes with a number. So negative 6v plus 7 equals 2. And then we're going to distribute a negative 3 times 1. That'll be negative 3. And negative 3 times 2v will be negative 6v. So knowing how to handle, math is mostly intimidating to people because how it looks. So if you can handle all the details one step at a time, it won't be as bad as you think. So we have like terms over here, 2 constants. So this side will stay the same. These constants will go together. 2 minus 3 will be negative 1 minus 6v. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get our variables on one side. So I'll add 6v, add 6v. So they both cancel. So I end up with 7 equals negative 1. That's never true. That's false. 7 will never equal negative 1. So when I put a number in for that variable and they cancel out, I'm never ever going to get a true solution. So this one has no solution. So when the variables all cancel out on both sides and it's false, that's when you have no solution. All right, let's see. Number 4, we'll first distribute. So negative 15 plus 3x equals negative 15. And then negative 5 times negative 7 is positive 35x. So this one, no like terms on either side. So I'll do inverse operations to get my x's on one side. So when I minus 3, that cancels. And on the other side, I get 35 minus 3, which would be positive 32. And then I'll add 15 to do the inverse to move it to the other side. So I can isolate this variable. And I get 32x equals 0. Okay. So that's one that I still have a variable, so I can keep going. 32 does not divide into 0, it won't fit. So x equals 0. So 0 is the solution set. That's an answer. Okay. All right. So some people, once they learn no solution, then they always think if either they don't get it or the answer is 0, they call it no solution. So notice the difference. This one still had a variable in it. This one did not. Okay, let's see what we got here. So 39 plus n, negative n, we're going to distribute negative 7. So minus 7n. Negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21. So here I have like terms. Negative 1 and negative 7 would make negative 8n. And then I'll get my variables on one side. So maybe I'll add 8n to both sides. So this one's gone. Add 8n to this side. So I'll have 39 plus 9n equals 21. All right. So I get a minus 39 from both sides. And then 9n equals 21 minus 39 is going to be negative 18. And when I divide, I get n equals negative 2. So that's just a regular old equation, nothing special about that one. Okay. Let's see here. Distribute my 4 on number 6. So negative 17 plus 4b equals, that's a b, don't make it look like a 6. 4b minus 4, and then don't forget to bring down this minus 8. So we have some like terms here. Negative 17 plus 4b equals, gotta keep track of my equal sign there. 4b, and then negative 4 minus 8 more will be negative 12. Now I don't have any like terms here or here, so get my variable on one side. It looks like it's going to cancel out on both sides. So I end up with no variables, and negative 17 equals negative 12. Is that true? Are those two things equal? No. So what does that mean? This equation has no solution. Are you starting to see the difference between solutions and no solutions and identities? Let's see. So this will give me 2x plus 10 equals 2x plus 10. I should be able to tell right now that this is identical. So it's an identity, and it has infinitely many solutions. But let's keep going. If we were to get my variable on both sides, on one side, get it off of both sides, cancel, cancel. So then I end up with 10 equals 10. That's true. All the variables are gone, so we don't have a solution. We don't have one solution. But we might have either none or infinite, and this time we have infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions. Okay, so you can start if you're confident with this, you can start your homework sheet, and be sure when you're done with the homework that you check the key on JT Learn. Okay, you gotta know if you're right or not. I'll give you points for doing it, but you've got to know it's right, or else it was just a waste of your time. Okay? Good luck. You can do it. Let me know if you need help.